Ray lived alone on the edge of the forest. His small farm sat near the old hills. Far from the main town, he liked it that way. Quiet, peaceful, simple. Each night, Ray sat on his porch and looked at the stars. He always wondered what was out there, but he never expected the sky to answer back. One cold evening, something strange happened. A bright light flashed across the sky like a falling star, but it was not a star. It roared like fire and shook the ground. Then it crashed into the woods with a loud boom. The birds flew away. The animals ran. Even Ray's dog barked and hid under the table. Ray grabbed his jacket, a flashlight, and his old rifle. He had seen many strange things in his life, but never anything like this. He walked into the dark forest. The smell of smoke filled the air. The trees were burning near the crash site. Branches were broken. The dirt was black and hot. Then he saw it. A crater, wide and deep, steaming in the moonlight. And in the middle of the crater, something moved. Ray stepped closer, his flashlight shaking in his hand. At first, he thought it was a baby animal, small, weak, curled into a ball. But then it opened its eyes, big eyes, glowing blue. They locked onto Ray, not with fear, but with a strange calm. It had blue fur, short limbs, and thin arms. Its chest moved slowly, like it was breathing hard. A long cut ran down its side, oozing dark green blood. Ray's heart pounded. He should run, he should call someone, but he didn't. Something in those eyes stopped him. The creature blinked once, then tried to crawl toward him. It was hurt, and it was alone. Ray knelt beside it. The heat from its body was strong, almost burning, but it didn't try to bite or claw. It simply looked at him, weak and tired. "I can't leave you here," Ray whispered. "You'll die." He wrapped it in his jacket and picked it up. It was heavier than it looked as he walked back. He felt the weight wasn't just in his arms. It was something else, like the forest was watching him. Back at the farm, Ray placed the creature in the old tool shed. It was the warmest place he could find. He gave it water and soft cloth to lie on. It drank slowly, then curled up and slept. Ray watched it for hours. The cut was deep. But something strange happened. The wound began to close on its own. Not fully, but faster than any normal healing. That night, Ray could not sleep. He kept thinking about the creature. Why did it fall from the sky? Was it alone? Was someone or something coming to find it? Just before dawn, Ray heard a sound, a low hum, like a machine. He looked out the window. A small black drone hovered near the trees. It scanned the ground with a red light. Then it flew off into the sky. Ray's blood turned cold. Someone was searching, and maybe they weren't human. He rushed to the shed. The creature was awake now. It stood on two legs, wobbly but learning. When it saw Ray, it gave a soft hum, like a song. Ray felt that sound deep in his chest. It wasn't just noise. It was communication. "You're not just some lost animal," he said slowly. "You're something more." The creature touched his hand. Its fingers were soft but cold. It looked into his eyes. And for a brief second, Ray saw something, a flash. A vision of stars, a silver throne, and a woman's voice. Whispering in a language he did not know, Ray stepped back, breathing hard. What was this thing? What did it want from him? But the creature just blinked, then curled up and fell asleep. Again, Ray sat beside it, rifle in hand, eyes on the door, whatever was coming. He had to be ready. Ray woke up before sunrise. He sat on the edge of his bed, listening. The wind outside was quiet, but something felt wrong. He got up, picked up his flashlight, and walked to the shed. When he opened the door, his eyes went wide. The creature blew, As Ray had started to call, it was no longer small. Overnight, it had grown. Its body was longer, its arms stronger. The once soft fur now had thin glowing lines running through it. Like circuits, Blue stood up on two legs, almost Ray's height now. Its eyes glowed brighter than before. It didn't seem hurt anymore. Ray stepped back, unsure. But Blue made a soft sound to hum, low and gentle. Then it sat down on the floor, just like before. "What are you?" Ray whispered, but Blue only tilted its head. Ray walked in slowly. He checked the spot where the wound had been, gone, completely healed. Not even a scar remained. "I fed you 2 apples and a cup of water," Ray said. "That's not enough to grow like this." Blue reached out and pointed at the small mirror on the wall. It looked at itself with a sad expression. Then it touched its own chest. Like it didn't understand either. Ray cooked eggs and bread and brought it in. Blue ate slowly, carefully. It watched Ray's every move like a child learning from a parent. Later that day, Ray tried to use the radio to contact anyone. But the signal was full of static. The sky had strange clouds again. Like something was hiding up there. That evening, Ray left Blue in the shed and walked to the village. He needed supplies, food, tools, batteries. He also needed to know if anyone else had seen the crash. At the shop, the old man behind the counter leaned in close. "You heard?" he asked. "Heard what?" Ray replied. "Strange lights. 2 nights ago," the man said. "Whole town saw them. Sky turned red, then black." He looked around, lowering his voice. "Now power cuts, missing dogs, even a few cows gone." Ray said nothing, paid for his things, and left quickly. He didn't like where this was going. Back home, Blue was waiting at the door. It had opened the latch from inside. Ray blinked, surprised. "I didn't teach you that," he said. Blue just hummed again and went back inside. Ray sat on the porch. Tired, he looked up. A shape passed over the moon, silent and dark. Too fast for a bird. Too slow for a plane. He didn't sleep much that night. He dreamed of fire, metal, and a woman with silver eyes calling out. The next morning, Blue had changed again. Now it could speak not in words, but in sounds that had meaning. It pointed at things, made small noises, and waited for Ray to name them. "Table," Ray said. Blue repeated, "Ta." Belle then smiled. Ray felt something growing. A bond maybe, or a trap. He wasn't sure anymore. That afternoon, Blue wandered to the field and touched a dying tree. Its glowing fingers ran over the bark. In moments, the tree turned green again. Leaves bursting from the branches. Ray saw it from the window. He ran outside. "What did you do?" Blue looked back, then pointed to its own chest. Its lines were glowing brighter now, pulsing like a heartbeat. "You're changing the world around you," Ray said. "This isn't normal." Then came the sound, a low hum, deep under the ground. It made the dirt shake. Blue froze, then growled an animal sound, full of fear. "What is it?" Ray asked. Blue grabbed Ray's hand, pulled him back toward the shed. It placed both hands on Ray's head. Suddenly, Ray saw flashes. A war, a great empire, machines with no faces, a throne of stone. And Blue small again, running, hiding. Falling through space, Ray stumbled back, gasping. His nose bled slightly. "You're not just running from something," he whispered. "You're being hunted." Blue nodded, then looked up at the sky. Ray followed its gaze. 3 red lights hovered high above, unmoving, watching, waiting. Ray's hand tightened around the rifle. No one knew what Blue really was, but Ray knew one thing: whatever was coming wasn't human. He looked at Blue. "You're not safe here anymore." Blue stepped closer, and for the first time, it spoke clearly. One word, simple and soft. Father Ray froze. His mouth opened, but no words came. In that moment, he knew. This creature, this alien, had made a choice. And now, they were both part of something much bigger. Ray didn't sleep the next night. He sat in a chair near the shed. Rifle across his lap, eyes wide open. Blue rested inside, but something was wrong. The air felt heavier, like a storm was building without clouds. At sunrise, Ray heard a strange hum in the distance, not from the sky but from the ground. The sound grew louder, like machines moving under the soil. Then they came. 5 men in dark armor arrived at the village. Their uniforms had no country flags, no names, no badges. Only a silver emblem that looked like a broken eye. They came in a black hovercraft, smooth and quiet. Ray watched from the hills through his old binoculars. These were not peacekeepers. These were hunters. The leader, tall and cold, spoke to the villagers in a flat voice. "We are here for a missing life form," he said. "Do not lie, do not hide, or we will take what we need." No one in the village knew anything, or at least they said they didn't, but Ray could feel the pressure growing. He returned home fast, heart pounding. Blue was waiting by the window. It had seen them too. Its glow dimmed, and its shoulders tensed like a frightened animal. "We need to move," Ray said. "We can't stay here." He packed food, blankets, and water into a small bag. Blue carried it without being asked. Then they ran into the forest, heading for the river caves. These caves were old, deep, and mostly forgotten. Ray used to play there as a boy. Now they would hide him and the creature he once found in a crater inside the cave. It was cold and wet drips echoed through the tunnels like tiny footsteps. Blue sat quietly in the corner, glowing softly, its eyes closed, but its body never relaxed. That night, Ray heard the hovercraft pass overhead. It didn't stop. But he knew they were searching. In the morning, Ray left Blue behind and went back to the edge of the village. He needed to know what was happening. He climbed a tall tree and looked through his binoculars again. The soldiers were using strange devices. They scanned trees, soil, even animals. When a dog barked at one of them, the soldier raised a hand. The dog froze mid-step, completely still, like time had stopped for it. Ray gritted his teeth. These were not normal men. These were something else, and they were getting closer. Back at the cave, Blue began to tremble. Its body shook with pain. Or Fury couldn't tell which. It grabbed its head and let out a sharp cry. Not loud, but strong, like it reached across space. Ray rushed to its side. "What is it? What's wrong?" Blue looked up, and in its eyes, Ray saw something new. Fire, not anger, but survival. Blue's body began to change again. Its arms grew longer. Its skin shimmered. The glowing lines on its body burned brighter than ever. Suddenly, they heard footsteps at the mouth of the cave. Ray grabbed his rifle and stood in front of Blue. The shadows moved, then a soldier stepped in. He raised his weapon. Ray pulled the trigger first, but nothing happened. His gun jammed. The soldier pointed his scanner. Blue stood up, its eyes locked with the soldier's. Then Blue raised a hand. The cave filled with light. A strange sound echoed in Ray's head, like a voice and music mixed together. The soldier screamed. Dropping his weapon, he fell to the ground, twitching, then went still. Ray stared, shocked. "Did you do that?" Blue turned to him and nodded, but its glow was fading fast. It leaned on the wall, breathing hard. "You used too much energy," Ray said. "You're burning yourself." Blue pointed to Ray's bag. Inside was a small stone, glowing. Faintly, Ray had found it near the crash site days ago and kept it. Thinking it was just debris, Blue touched it and absorbed the glow. Its body relaxed again. Ray sat beside it. "You're not just being hunted," he whispered. "You're a weapon." Blue didn't answer. It just looked at Ray with tired eyes, eyes that no longer seemed alien. Later that day, they moved deeper into the cave. Ray used old maps to find hidden exits, but the hunters were smart. They left strange metal boxes near the village. Ray saw one glowing at night. TIT sent out tiny drones. They flew silently, scanning, always scanning. "We're running out of time," Ray said. "They're not going to stop." Blue touched Ray's hand again. Another vision, a throne of glass, an army of metal, a queen with eyes like stars. And one message repeating in a voice of power, "Return the air." Ray pulled his hand back. His heart was pounding. "You're royalty," he whispered, "and they want you back." Blue looked away. Tess' single tear rolled down its cheek, glowing like a falling star. Asterisk, the cave was cold. But Ray's back was wet with sweat. He stared into the darkness, gripping his rifle. Blue slept beside him. Breathing slow, the glowing lines on its body now dim. Ray hadn't slept in 2 days. Each time he closed his eyes, he saw the woman. Again, the one with silver eyes, the one on the throne. "Hey." And her voice, he could still hear it, soft yet powerful. Calling across space, "Return the air." The words burned inside his mind like fire. Outside, the hunter searched closer every day. Ray had seen 3 drones hover over the trees yesterday. Blue had grown quiet. Weak, it barely spoke anymore. Ray didn't know if Blue was sick or scared. That morning, the sky turned purple. It wasn't a normal sunrise. The clouds shimmered like glass. The wind carried a low hum, almost like a song. Ray walked to the top of a cliff near the cave. He looked up, and his mouth fell open. There, high above the clouds, floated a massive ship, dark and silent, shaped like a crescent moon. It moved slowly, casting a shadow over the valley. The hunters in the village stopped what they were doing. They looked up to. Ray saw them freeze, confused, unsure. This wasn't their ship. This was someone else, someone higher. Ray ran back to the cave. Blue was already awake, sitting up straight. Its glow was back but different. It shone like the moon, cool and strong. "You knew she was coming, Ray," said Blue. Nodded once. Then it spoke, not in broken words, but in full thought, soft and clear. Inside Ray's mind, the Empress has arrived. Ray stumbled back. "You can speak like this." "Only now," Blue answered. She unlocked it. Ray sat down, stunned. "Who is she?" he asked. "Your mother?" Blue was quiet for a moment, then nodded slowly. "Yes," it said. "But she is not like you. She is not soft." Suddenly, a sound echoed in the air, a voice not from the cave, not from the radio, but from everywhere, a message sent through thought and wind and stars. "People of this world," the voice said, "you are near something that belongs to me. He is mine, by blood and birth. Bring him to the light, and you will not be harmed. Hide him, and I will bring fire." Ray felt the words cut into his chest. He dropped his rifle. Even the air around him trembled. Blue clutched its head, falling to its knees. Its body shook, the glow flickered. "She's hurting you," Ray shouted. "Stop it." Ray held Blue close, trying to calm it down. He whispered soft words. "The way you calm a child." Slowly, the shaking stopped. Blue looked up with teary eyes. "She wants you," Ray said. But what do you want? Blue didn't answer. It stood up and walked to the mouth of the cave. It looked at the giant ship above the clouds. The wind touched its fur, making it shimmer like water. She sees me as a tool, Blue said. Not as a child, Ray nodded. I see you, he said, not what you were made for, but who you are, suddenly. Lights flashed in the distance. The hunters were back, and they were coming fast. But this time, they weren't scanning. They were running. Ray raised his rifle. But then he saw something behind the soldiers floating. Glowing, a new ship, smaller than the giant one in the sky. It landed near the river, quiet as a whisper. From its door, she stepped out, tall, glowing, wearing a cloak of stars. Her eyes were silver. Her skin shimmered like the moon. She didn't walk, she floated. The Empress Ray watched from the cave's edge, hidden by shadows. The Empress looked around slowly, then spoke aloud. Where is he? She said. Her voice was calm, but behind it was storm. She walked to the hunters. They bowed low. Even the leader, she touched his forehead, and his body turned to light, then dust. Ray pulled Blue back into the cave. We can't face her, he whispered. She's too strong. Blue shook its head. I must go, it said. But I won't return as a slave. Ray grabbed its shoulder. There has to be another way. Blue looked into his eyes. Only if you help me. Ray didn't understand. What can I do? I'm just a farmer. You gave me a name, Blue said. You gave me love. Now give me a choice. Then the Empress's voice filled the sky again. Louder, sharper. Bring him to me now, or I will take this world apart. Ray stood, heart racing. For the first time in his life, he had to decide between peace and war. Ray's heart beat like a hammer in his chest. The Empress's voice still echoed in the sky. Her words were not a warning. They were a command. Bring him to me, she had said, or your world will burn. Blue stood beside Ray at the edge of the cave. Its body glowed like silver fire, but there was sadness in its eyes. The glow was not strength, it was pain. Ray looked down at the valley. The Empress was waiting near her ship. The forest around her was dead, as if her presence drained life itself. Even the clouds moved away from her. Ray turned to Blue. Won't give you to her, he said. I don't care who she is. Blue touched Ray's arm gently. She is my mother, it said softly, but I am not her tool anymore. They moved deeper into the cave. Ray lit old lanterns, and they followed a narrow tunnel toward the lower chambers. He had hidden here as a child during wild storms. Now he was hiding again, but this time it was for something bigger. Blue sat on a flat stone and closed its eyes. The glowing lines on its skin pulsed like a slow heartbeat. Ray sat nearby, watching, thinking, why did you come here? Ray asked, why this planet? Blue opened one eye and looked at him. I escaped, it said. They wanted to turn me into a weapon, a destroyer. But something inside me broke. It looked away, toward the cave wall. I wanted peace. Ray nodded slowly. You found the wrong planet for that, he said with a small smile. Blue smiled too. A quiet moment passed between them. Then Blue spoke again, this time with more strength. You showed me something, it said. Something more powerful than my gifts? Ray raised an eyebrow. What's that? Kindness, Blue said simply. Outside, the ground shook. The sky turned darker. The Empress was growing impatient. Suddenly, the cave roof rumbled. Rocks fell, dust rose, and a crack opened above them. Ray pulled Blue back just in time. Light poured into the cavern, so did something else, a hunter drone, small and sharp. It flew inside, scanning, locking onto Blue. It fired a thin red beam. Ray pushed Blue away. The beam hit Ray's shoulder, burning through cloth and skin. Ray fell with a cry, gripping his arm. Blue stood over him, eyes glowing bright. The lines on its body pulsed like a storm. Then Blue screamed. A wave of energy burst from its chest. The drone shook, sparks flew, and it dropped like a stone. Dead Blue ran to Ray, placing its hand over the wound. A soft blue light flowed from its palm. Ray's pain faded slowly, and the burn began to close. Ray looked up, his voice weak. "You healed me." "I gave back what you gave me," Blue replied. They stayed there for hours. Ray's body weak, Blue's energy fading again. The glow was dim, now flickering like a candle in wind. Ray stared at the cave ceiling, thinking, "This isn't just about you anymore," he said. "She's willing to destroy everything to get you." Blue nodded. "She's afraid." "Afraid of what?" Ray asked. "Of change," Blue said. "Of me choosing love over power." Ray sat up, even though it hurt. "She can't take you if you don't go." Blue looked at him, serious and calm. "She will try." They both knew hiding wasn't enough. "Any more?" Ray reached into his bag and pulled out a small round device, something he had picked up from a fallen hunter. He had fixed it last night. It was a signal blocker. It could buy them time, but only if they used it at the right place. "There's one place she can't reach easily," Ray said. "The magnetic ridge." Near the old mining field, Blue blinked. "That place is dead." "Exactly," Ray said. "No tech works there, not even hers." It was risky, but it was a chance. They packed what little they had and moved quietly through the tunnels. Hours later, they reached the edge of the ridge. The sky above was clear now, almost peaceful. But Ray knew it was only calm before the storm. He looked at Blue and said, "If we stand here, she'll come for sure." "Then we stand." Blue replied. Ray smiled. "You sound like a soldier." "No," Blue said. "I sound like your son." Ray looked away, his eyes stinging. The bond was real. Not created by blood, but by choice. And now, they would face the Empress together. The wind howled over the magnetic ridge. Dust flew across the rocky ground, sharp and dry. Ray stood with his rifle slung over one shoulder. Beside him stood Blue, tall now, glowing softly, but calm. They had reached the highest point of the ridge. Below them was nothing but broken rock and dry trees. No towns, no people, no life. And above them, silence. But not for long. The sky rippled, as if torn like cloth. A crack of white light split the air. Then a giant shadow moved in, slow and heavy. The Empress's ship appeared without sound. It didn't roar like human ships. It floated like a dream, but felt like a nightmare. The ship was larger than a mountain, black and silver, smooth like glass. It opened in the center like a blooming flower, and from that center she came. The Empress floated down, her feet never touching the ground. Her cloak flowed behind her like smoke. Her skin shimmered like stars. And her silver eyes saw everything at once. Ray swallowed hard. She was not just Alianchi, was ancient. Blue stepped forward. He didn't tremble, didn't hide. He faced her like a son standing up to a queen. The Empress looked at Blue with a cold gaze. Her voice entered their minds without sound. "My child," she said, "you have wandered too far." Blue didn't move. "I found a better path." He replied. The Empress's eyes narrowed. "You were created for more," she said. "Not to play pet to a human farmer." Ray stepped forward. His voice loud. "He's not a pet," he said. "He's someone." The Empress looked at Ray as if seeing an insect. "You are dirt under time's foot," she whispered. A moment, nothing more. Ray kept standing. I may be dirt, he said, but he chose to stay with me. The ground trembled beneath their feet. Around them, the rocks cracked. The ship hummed with power. Ray pulled out the signal block of the small round device. He clicked it on. A sharp wave of blue energy pulsed through the ridge. The Empress paused. Her ship flickered slightly. She could not control this place. She floated down until she stood in front of them. For the first time, her feet touched the ground, and when she spoke again, her voice came not from the sky but from her mouth. "You don't understand," she said to Ray. "He is more than a child. More than a prince, he is a seed." Ray frowned. A seed of what? The Empress looked at Blue. "He carries power beyond stars," she said. "He will awaken destruction." Unless guided, Blue looked down. Ray could see the fear in his eyes now. "What does she mean?" Ray asked softly. Blue spoke slowly. "I was not just made to lead," he said. "I was made to reset planets, to destroy and begin again." Ray stepped back. "Is that true?" Blue nodded. "My mind was locked, but it's opening now." The Empress took another step forward. "Give him to me," she said, "or watch your world fall." Ray looked at Blue. Then he looked at the stars above. They seemed smaller now, weaker, but his voice did not shake. "No," he said. "He chooses." The Empress raised her hand. Light formed at her fingertips, bright, sharp, deadly, but then Blue stepped between them. "No," Blue said. "I decide." The Empress froze. "You would choose this broken place?" she asked. "This dying man?" Blue's glow brightened until the ridge turned blue. "I choose peace," he said. "I choose to be more than what I was made to be." The Empress's hand trembled. For the first time, she looked unsure. Then her face changed. Sadness, regret, even fear passed through her eyes. "You are still my son," she whispered. "You were meant to become a god." Blue smiled. "I would rather be human." The ridge trembled again, but this time it was not the ship, it was Blue. His glow spread outward. It touched the rocks, the dust, the sky. Ray shielded his eyes. The light wasn't hot, which was warm, gentle like a summer morning. Then silence. When Ray looked again, the Empress was gone. The ship was still above, but drifting away, like a bird that had lost its nest. Blue stood alone, his glow dim now. He looked tired but free. Ray walked up to him. "Is it over?" Blue nodded. "She didn't want to fight," he said. "She only wanted control." Ray looked at the empty sky, and now? Blue sat on the rock, watching the sunset. "I don't know," he said, "but I have a home now." Ray sat beside him. And for the first time in many days, there was peace. The sky was quiet now. No ships, no hunters, no Empress. Only clouds moving slowly across the fading light. Ray sat on the cliff's edge, arms resting on his knees. Beside him, Blue sat in silence. His glow had faded to a soft silver, calm and steady. For the first time in days, there was no fear, no running, no hiding. Just the wind, the earth, and the sky. "You did it," Ray said, his voice low. "You faced her." Blue nodded. "I didn't win," he said, "but I didn't lose either." Ray looked at him carefully. "You chose something else." Blue gave a small smile. "I chose myself." They sat like that for a while, watching the stars appear one by one. Then Blue turned to Ray. "I feel something," he said. "It's pulling me." Ray sat up straight. "Pulling you where?" Blue looked at the stars out there, he said, pointing to the night sky. "There is a path, one I must follow." Ray's chest tightened. "You're leaving?" Blue nodded slowly. "I am not human," he said. I don't grow old. I don't die like you. I can't stay and watch you fade. Ray looked down, trying not to let the pain show. I know, he whispered. I just thought. Maybe for a while longer. Blue touched his shoulder. You gave me more than time, he said. You gave me a reason to be. The next morning, they walked back to the crater, the place where it all began. The trees were still burned, the ground still scarred. In the center stood a small platform, round, silent, waiting. It had formed during the night, a sign, perhaps, a door waiting to open. Blue stepped onto it. The platform glowed under his feet. The wind stopped, the air stilled. Ray took a step closer. Before you go, he said, there's something you should know. Blue turned to him. Ray hesitated, then said, I was never a father, no wife, no kids, no family. I didn't know how to care for anything but crops. He paused, eyes glassy, but when you came, all broken and strange. I learned how to love something, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. Blue's voice trembled as he replied, then you were more than a father. The light on the platform grew brighter. It hummed like a gentle heartbeat. Blue looked into Ray's eyes one last time. I will not forget, he said. Not this planet. Not your kindness. Ray smiled. And I won't forget that you chose peace. Blue raised his hand. A soft wave of light moved from his palm to Ray's chest. Warmth spread through Ray's body. What's that? Ray asked. A gift, Blue said. So you will live longer than most, so you will remember. The light wrapped around Blue. His body shimmered, changing. He grew wings made of starlight. His form stretched. Part beast, part flame, part child, part future. Ray stepped back, tears in his eyes. You're beautiful, he whispered. Blue, no longer just a creature, no longer just a prince, looked to the sky. The stars opened above him like a road unfolding in the dark. With one final hum, he rose into the air, slowly, gently, without force, and then he was gone. Only the wind remained, and silence. Ray stood alone in the crater. He looked up for a long time, even after the sky closed again. Then he turned and walked home. Back on his farm, things returned to quiet. But Ray was not the same. He moved slower, but with more care. He planted new crops, stronger than before. He looked at the stars each night, not in wonder, but in memory. Sometimes he heard music in the wind. A soft hum, like a voice across time, and sometimes when the sky turned silver just before dawn. He smiled, knowing he was being watched. Final lines for voiceover ending. Some things fall from the sky. Strange, wild, and full of power. But what they choose to become, that is what makes them truly alive. He was meant to destroy worlds. Instead, he learned to love one.